welcome back to our channel. It's a trap. So today I'm gonna answer some of your question that it's been a long time that haven't answered, because maybe I'm busy or maybe it's a repetitive question, but now I will answer everything that I haven't answered that you requested, because all your questions and also all your suggestion I wrote it on my notebook and today we will gotta answer it and give time one by one. So let's start. So the first question that somebody asked, if live sphagnum moss is better than sphagnum moss in perlite, and the simple answer is yes. And because live sphagnum moss have the properties that support the carnivorous plant, especially Venus flytrap and like Nepenthes and Helianthora. Actually, all of the carnivorous plant loves live sphagnum moss. As you can see, or you already know, research about it, that carnivorous plant in the wild, they can be found on the patches of live sphagnum moss. So sphagnum moss, I think, is the best medium for your carnivorous plant. That's why next year, early next year, we're gonna sell some of our propagation for you so that you can try it if what I'm telling is just a bluff or it's true. So now you can see on the video that we're watching now that I submerged some of the plants. Somebody asked if this is okay, and my answer is this is one of the maintenance that we are doing here in our growing area. Actually, it applies to all the carnivorous plant because we want our medium to be pest free and to be low on ppm. So in the other perspective, you can also moist and water the plant this way. But the main purpose, the reason that I am doing this, because I want the medium to be pest free. I want the ants, I want the mildews, aphids to drown, so that my medium will be ideal. But I will not say that it will last for a long time. That's why we are doing this for in a regular basis, like for, let's say, after a month or after 3 weeks that we've done this, we're gonna repeat it all over again, so that we will not have a bigger problem that you will have a need to repot thousands of plants just to save them all. So by doing this, you will save some of your cherished carnivorous plant, that they will not be affected with those pests. So continuing with the other questions, like when you are propagating, Kuya Brian or Kuya Brint, do you cover your propagation, let's say on seeds, or let's say on Venus flytrap propagation? Do you cover it with plastic to increase the humidity maybe? My answer is no, because as I told you, we already have our own way to increase the humidity and increase the success rate of propagating those carnivorous plant like Venus flytrap. Again, we use live sphagnum moss to resolve it. That's why I tell you, live sphagnum moss, it has a lot of purpose here in our growing area. You know, if I'm tired, I'll just sit beside the patches of sphagnum moss, and you can breathe the air, the quality near the level or near the pureness on the mountainside, because having a sphagnum moss, they filter more air, and they produce much purer air than the bigger trees. That's based on one research that I read and I watched. And to add to that, live sphagnum moss, they have this ability that they grow fast. That's why when you put other carnivorous plant beside them, I think some of the properties on growing aspect, some of it was passed on to the plants that near it. I don't know. That's what my observation is, or maybe because of humidity and cooler temperature, the plant thrives. So I don't know, but that's my observation based on my experience here in our growing area. So the other question is, favorite, what's the specific name of the layer that you use in this basket? The bottom part, I put a black mesh. I put it just because I want the medium to not to erode and to be wasted on the water when I'm submerging it or when I'm watering it. So that's why I put black mesh layer or maybe a net or a shading net. Like when you are doing or making a terrarium, you put mesh also on the bottom part of the terrarium. But in this case, it is a tray and we use it to contain all those medium because those medium is not that big enough, and it for sure it will erode after some time. That's why the first medium that we use is after the mesh is if I remember it right, it's coco peat. But you can also put pure sphagnum or sphagnumos and perlite, the recycled one, so that it will help also not to hold the it will also help to hold the carbonized rice and coco peat after that. So after you put a thin layer of sphagnumos and perlite, you can put your coco peat, thin layer of it, then another thin layer of carbonized rice, then another, after the carbonized rice, you'll put another layer of coco peat. It's a little bit tricky, but just repeat or rewind this what I'm telling you and you will get the idea. Then after the coco peat, we will gonna put again the sphagnumos and perlite mix, and on the top of that you're gonna put the pure sphagnumos. It doesn't matter if it is a live sphagnumos or it's the dried one, just to make sure to wash it before you use it and measure if this ideal for your plant. Then when we are putting our precious carnivorous plant, whatever it is, Nepenthes, Venus flytrap, Helianthora, Darlingtonia, whatever it is, we always use again live sphagnumos around the plant, around the root system, or around the rhizome area. So why we are doing this? Because I feel and I also observe that putting live sphagnumos around the area of the plants, it will help, or it will make the plant easier to adapt or acclimate in their new environment. Just like what I've done before when you saw me repotting the Nepenthes. This is all, most of them are all indoor grown, and I really feel that I'm still noob in the Nepenthes. That's why I always put a lot of live sphagnumos, because we have ample amount of supplies here because we are propagating our own live sphagnumos, and I suggest you do it also. So that's one of the thing that we're doing here in our growing area, and I will check what other question you have also. So one of the question that came is complete guide on how to propagate Venus flytrap, like clip pulling. I already made a lot of video about Venus flytrap, and most of them is in Tagalog, and some of it I don't think I think I haven't made a propagation guide yet on English, but I think I made one that have a subtitle on it in English. But I think maybe next week I will make an English version of Venus flytrap propagation in English, but just for you to be satisfied, or for you to be to know what I'm doing here on propagating Venus flytrap. You can also watch, even if it is on Tagalog, in other language that you are not used to. You can see what's the idea of doing it. Actually, what I'm doing, if I will gonna, let's say, propagate a Venus flytrap, I will choose the plant which has a lot of traps. It's on the, this method is I will in a one plant of one Venus flytrap with a lot of traps. If there is some plants, I will divide it, or I will take it out. I will separate it from a mother plant. Then if the mother plant has a lot of rhizome or a lot of traps, old or new, I will get the end part where there is old traps on it, and I will take 4 or 5 rhizome out of the mother plant and plant it on the same medium that I'm talking to you earlier. Then I'll just put I told you live sphagnum moss around the rhizome, and I will plant it just like ordinary Venus flytrap. Even it doesn't have new growth. After some times, even the traps will dry out. If the rhizome was preserved because of your daily misting and daily checking if the rhizome is still okay, just make sure that the condition of the rhizome is moist but not too wet, because a newly cut rhizome, it has like plant wounds on it. That's why we don't want to submerge it or make it waterlogged, because the rhizome has the tendency to rot, or in other term, it has a root rot on it. But if you keep it on the right condition, like you'll put it on just a moist environment, or yes, moist environment, but not too wet, and you give morning sunlight and late afternoon sunlight, it will grow maybe 3 to 4 or 5 plants after maybe 3 weeks. So if you will wait more, maybe it will double or triple or more. I will show you maybe next week. We will divide the DC, I think it's a DCXL rhizome propagation. Now it's clumps. We will divide it, and I will show you how I'm doing it. But just to give you an idea, that's what my technique is. When I'm dividing, I'm separating the seedlings, or the baby plants, and also I also get some old rhizome from the mother plant, and it will benefit also the mother plant, because by doing it, you're skipping the dormancy, because the plant will have this condition that it will be dormant after some times if you will do something to the plant. But if you want to check the video, it's called, we have a separate review from video regarding this, skip dormancy reset or skipping. I think we have that on our usual playlist, so that you need to check it or search it on my channel. It's called how to skip dormancy. I think that's the title of the video. Anyway, back to the instruction on how in the propagation, because you're asked it, and I really want to satisfy your curiosity about it. Then I also have some video about new way of propagating Venus flytrap, where instead of getting the old rhizome, you get the new growth from that mother plant, and the remaining old rhizome with a lot of let's say traps but no new growth, you will plant it like what I told you earlier, and behold, it will sprout a lot of new growth, and you will have like maybe more than 10 plantlets on it. But depends how many plantlets or how big your plant or mother plant that you're gonna use. So I suggest you watch also that video about the new way of propagating Venus flytrap. So what other question maybe that I can share to you, or technique that I can share to you? So to add to this, so some of you asked me earlier that if you should cover or not the propagation, like let's say plantlets or seeds. In here we don't cover it, and we just let it we just put it on the shaded area, preferably around the propagation of live sphagnum so that those seedling propagation is will be benefited around those live sphagnums. So time is really past, and I hope you learned something from this video. This will be the last video that I will make today because I think I already made a few videos today, more than enough to satisfy our viewers. And hope I assist you in some ways. And God bless. I will pray for you and take care.